Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you there's a crossover out there that does it all, or at least attempts to earn that jack of all trades title? Well, let me introduce you to the Audi SQ5 Sportback. And in this video, we're going to see if the SQ5 Sportback, in fact, is a jack of all trades. Right here at the front of this Audi, we have to talk about design. There's a very big grille, as is so common now in the industry, but actually only about half of this grille is a grille. The rest of it kind of just looks like a grille. Now, coming around the side, we can see all of these bright accents to contrast with this color. This is a very unique color, district green metallic, and it almost has a little bit of a gold hue to it. Pretty interesting. Down here, behind the wheels, you can see bright red brake calipers. That is part of an S Sport package, and we'll get into all of the options that this car has a little later on. Right here, you can see some bright polished mirror caps to match all this trim. But of course, like I've been mentioning, this car is the Sportback. So if you look right here, you can see this sloped rear end to make this SUV, well, at least according to Audi, a little bit more coupe-like. Does that affect the trunk space? Yes, it does. Now, starting with the power liftgate opening, let's test out how big this trunk really is. You can see I have manifested out of nowhere two moving boxes, a large one and a small one. Now, with the seats up in their current position, you get 24.7 cubic feet of space. And in other words, it's not a ton, because you can see just these two moving boxes are taking up the majority of the room in this trunk. Now, you can make this trunk up to 51.9 cubic feet by folding down the seats. Now, if you just have a couple skis or something to throw in here, then you can fold down only the middle seat. But if you want to fold down these seats, you have to walk around, open up the door, and pull a lever on each side. So it's not the most convenient. While the trunk might not be the roomiest, the rest of the interior is actually pretty impressive. Firing it up, you can see our large screens, both the Audi virtual cockpit and our center infotainment screen fire up. And hear that? Every little button press with this screen makes a nice noise. It gives you some feedback, which I love. Now, this is something that I think is really interesting. This SQ5, even though it's more of a sporty crossover, actually has an inclinometer. So it seems like they want you to be able to off-road it. And that kind of plays into the jack of all trades deal here. So this Audi also has active air suspension, and that means we can actually raise and lower the vehicle. Now, if we back out from the screens here and take a look at just the general materials all over the place, everything is really nice. Not only does that screen feel good, but all of these buttons, the steering wheel, everything is sharp, it's crisp, and you just get a lot of things to be proud of. If I were to own this vehicle and have all of these nice, soft, plush materials, these Nappa leather seats with tons of adjustability, I would be pretty happy about it. Lifting up the center console, you will reveal a wireless charger that is big enough even for my ginormous iPhone 12 Pro Max. And even though this is its lowest position, it ratchets, so you can pick what height you want it to sit at. Coming back to the virtual cockpit here in front of me, I have to say this is a really attractive and sharp looking screen, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to use. So right here, the tachometer moves to the left, which is a little confusing when you're driving because the speedometer moves to the right. This speedometer is also a little difficult to read. It's nice that it has an actual digital number there for you, because this arc that moves across the screen really doesn't give you a good idea of how fast you're going, not the least because the increments of numbers are 0, 40, 80, and 160, and there's a lot in between. Because the Audi SQ5 is meant to do a little bit of everything, you get tons of different drive modes, and you switch through those using this drive selector down here. So if you look at the screen as I press through these, Going up, you get comfort, all-road, and off-road. So those are your more soft and rugged modes. But if you switch down, you get dynamic and, of course, individual, which are your more sporty modes. And individual is selectable. So you can choose different suspension settings, steering settings, even engine sound, such as quiet, automatic, and present. Not exactly sure what present engine sound is, but that's what it's set to. You'll be happy to hear that rear seat passengers are not without luxury of their own. Look at these seats. They're diamond stitched and absolutely beautiful, just like they are in the front. You also have more Bang & Olufsen speakers back here. Lots of things. You also get vents, which is really nice. And, of course, the rear seat passengers can pick their own temperature. Down here, you can see some charge ports, but like it says, they are charge only, so they're not data ports like you have in the front for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Now, right now I'm sitting behind myself, and I'm actually sitting behind myself in the position that some of the other guys at the office set this at. So I was back a good ways, and yeah, my knees have plenty of room, and even though this is a Sportback, I have okay headroom. If I was maybe 6'2" or so, I might be struggling. I'm 5'10", so I've got room to spare. Pretty comfortable place to be. Now it's time to hit the road in our Audi SQ5 because, of course, it's the SQ5, so it's about driving, right? Well, we have a 3-liter V6 turbocharged, 349 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. But before we're out on the pavement doing some performance driving, we're on this little section of dirt, and even on a very small section of dirt road, you can tell this car it doesn't feel like an off-roader, and I'm sure it's not much of one. But when you actually get it out onto pavement and lay into the throttle a little bit, yeah, it's got some push. That torque is noticeable. Now, the noise that comes out of it, yeah, there's not a lot of exhaust noise. There is a little bit of induction noise. You can hear the turbo, and that is a little bit of fun. Fuel economy on the SQ5 is 18 city, 24 highway for a combined MPG of 20. Crossovers are a massively competitive and crowded segment of the auto industry right now, meaning that there is a lot of competition against this SQ5. It has 349 horsepower, while its rival from BMW, the X4 M40i, has 382 horsepower. The Mercedes-AMG GLC 43 Coupe has 385 horsepower, so this is, by a noticeable margin, the least powerful of those three. However, this is also by far the least expensive. This Sportback starts at $56,100, whereas the BMW starts at $62,000 and the Mercedes starts at $65,000. As I mentioned, the base price on the SQ5 Sportback is $56,100, but the one that you see behind me here costs $66,640. So where did that extra $10,000 go? Well, a big chunk of it is the $3,400 Premium Plus package. That package gets you memory seats, Audi's virtual cockpit, adaptive cruise control, a heated steering wheel, and a 360 cam, as well as a number of other features. You also have, on this model, the $3,000 S Sport package. That gives you adaptive air suspension, a sport rear differential, and red brake calipers. You also get other items on this like the $1,000 Napa leather seats and the $950 Bang & Olufsen audio system. So there's no shortage of expensive options wrapped up in this vehicle. So let's come back to our original question. Is this a jack of all trades or a master of none? Well, it's certainly compromised in more ways than one. However, I truly think that this is a great all-around vehicle and very, very sharp. But let us know what you think in the comments down below, and we'll catch you in the next video.